And we're back. All right, let's talk pricing your stuff. All right, your service, your product, whatever it is that you're doing, let's figure out pricing. So we've talked a lot about the minimum viable offer, the thing that you can offer to your market that matches up with your passion, your skills and abilities, and the market's felt wants or needs. Again, so important to figure out the market's felt wants or needs. All right, go back and figure that out if you haven't yet. Please go back and figure that out. Okay, so pricing your whatever it is that you're selling is super important. So in a previous lesson, I think the last lesson probably you listened to was thinking through your pricing that you currently have. So what are you making? Kind of boiling everything down and figuring out what you're making per hour right now. That's our target. That's what we want to beat. That's the bear breathing down our back that we have to outrun. And our goal is to double that as quickly as possible. There's way more distance you can go. Doubling is not the end game. It's just first step is let's double that, get way past it, and get that price behind us so that we can quickly generate more income, quickly change what your capacity is, both just in life, if you got credit cards to pay off or want to take a vacation or whatever it is you're trying to do quickly, but also really make some space so you can start using your resources to really increase your hit rate on a new business or new income stream. Okay. And in that process, we'll shrink down the time it takes you to do that. We want to do this in a really manageable time. So let's jump in here again. Again, I'm Chris Williams. If you need to ask me questions, chris.williams@centhold.com is my email address, chris.williams at centhold is spelled SENTHOLD.com. I will answer your questions. I will send you these templates. I'll help you find a video if you've lost one in the past. Wherever you're watching these videos at, jump over to Chris Williams HQ. That's my YouTube channel. And I have a playlist there with all these videos in there, day one through day now. And again, the process we're on is building a business or income stream right here live in front of you. And you can ask questions, poke holes in it, fill in your own answers into all these worksheets, and you will create your own business and own income stream in a really manageable amount of time. That's what I do. I create all my income and generate all my income in less than an hour a day. I've been doing it for years. And it's very doable. It's just simply using the process and the tools that we have available to us. There's so much out there that you probably just don't even know is out there. It's not that hard. People are doing it all over the place. You can too. So I'm just walking you through the process because people ask me about it. This is the simplest way to teach it. And jump in here, get to it. You can do it. All right. If you followed us along and you're jumping in right now and you are in process and right on track, then let's rock and roll this thing. So your hourly rate that you figured out in the last time we talked is a really important number. It's what someone has kind of stamped on your forehead and said, this is what you're worth to them. That's not cool, all right? That's not the right number for you. There's way more out there for you because they're valuing you, your product, your service, whatever it is. They're saying that's the value that they put on it the way they see it today. We have to work on changing, first of all, your perception of your value, what you bring to the table, and then transferring that on to the buyer to make sure they can transfer that and really catch on to what you're worth, what you're really bringing to them. That's what you should be selling at, okay? So, first steps. Let's kind of document a few things so you kind of see how the process flows. So jump in here. Pricing your whatever. All right, if you have a product or a service, we're going to talk about both. And they're really, really similar. I know products seem different. Product is a thing. So my Starbucks cup here, this lid is a product. Somebody created this lid and thought of the best design, the best plastics. It's nice and rugged. It has a little steam hole right in the top. It works out great, right? They sold to Starbucks. They have to sell a ton of these things, and they have to keep a whole bunch of other lid salespeople out of the market so that their 1 penny per 1,000 lid profit doesn't go away. That's probably all they're making. It's probably a really tight profit margin. That's what products often are. They get commoditized, and everybody's chasing the cheapest price. All right, that's a product example. There's other product examples out there where it's something really unique and custom that you can't get and replicate anywhere else. There's a higher profit margin on it. My AirPods, for instance. This is a higher profit margin product than the lid, not because it just costs more, but because it's Apple. It's the thing, right? There's not just good sound quality coming to you. Hopefully you can hear me okay because I'm using these as a microphone for these recordings. I had a little lapel mic that I was going to use, trying to be all fancy with you guys. And it was such a hassle, and honestly, it didn't sound as good as these things in my ear. This is amazing, right? So it's not just because they're amazing product that they cost more, but they also cost more because it's a cool factor, right? I don't mind being seen walking down the street with these things that some people do, but there's a cool factor. Every freaking kid that my kids know in high school or middle school has a pair of AirPods. Everybody's got them, right? So that's value. So they're able to price that thing up and make more profit because there's a intrinsic value, a way it makes you feel. All right. I don't feel much other than keeping the hot tea off of my chest and lap with this cup, but it doesn't make me feel special, right? Like my AirPods do. Okay. So let's talk products for a minute. If you've got a product, and let's just say your product is, let's go for something new. Let's say your product is clothing. All right. So I'm wearing a merino wool long sleeve shirt right now. I have a fleece jacket over here on the chair next to me. All right. Both great gear brands. I love my gear. If you're selling clothing, we were in Leadville, Colorado. Oh, for summer vacation. We spent about a month just roaming through the mountains and out into the desert 2 years ago with our kids. Leadville, Colorado has this clothing company. It is fantastic. What's this thing called? Clothes made in Leadville, Colorado. There we go. There it is. Melanzana is a fantastic, cool clothing company. They make some really cool outdoor clothing that's just made in Leadville, Colorado. And this little grid right here you see, that's like their thing. So you'll see somebody every now and then with that kind of grid and that look on their clothing. You'll be like, oh my gosh, you got that in Leadville because it's the only place you can get it. I have some socks that I love to run in that are made at this company. I can't get them anywhere else, and they won't even sell them to me online. You have to go there to get the socks. So, super cool clothing company. They're doing a great job. It's all locally made right here in the US, right there in Leadville, and it's good quality gear. Okay. That's a good example of a product. Now, they're fighting against Patagonia and Arc'teryx and LL Bean and whatever your clothing brand is, they're fighting against those clothing brands. If they're in the gear space in particular, like outdoor climbing, biking, kayaking, you can see the slides they have planned here. Obviously, an outdoor adventure gear brand. Now, that's a tough space to work in, right? But there is a little more profit margin in that space because people pay a little more for that kind of gear than other kinds of clothing sometimes. So that's a nice step up. But you want to make sure that if you're in that product space, let's go back over here to my little page here, that you're pricing your product as high as you can without getting just run out of town by having someone else buy more product from some other vendor because it's slightly cheaper for the same quality, right? But you're kind of stuck, right? There's only so far you can go. There's only so far Melanzana can go with a fleece jacket on pricing. They can't sell one for $500 because there's other really fantastic gear brands out there selling them for $100 to $200. Okay, so what is your product limit line? So if you have a limit there, let's think through the price. So your product may be priced at this shirt right here. Let's say it's $100. Okay, put a dollar sign there for you folks who want to take notes here. And let's say this takes. Again, I'm saying this as a smaller shop. These are made in mass, I'm sure. But let's say you're the one making the clothing. Let's say it takes you 3 hours to make that, okay? And that means per project. This is a project, basically. This one shirt is a project. It took you 3 hours for $100. So you're getting paid $33 per hour for the project, all right? Kind of make sense? Assuming it didn't cost you any raw materials. Obviously, there's some raw materials in here. So you could take $25 off of that, and then you'd be getting paid $25 per hour for your project because the product is $100 minus cost, which is $25, let's say. Okay, you get the idea. So it's a $75 profit for you, meaning that's how much you get paid for the time it took you to make the product. The real question here is not, is it worth $100? The real question, based on your hourly rate and the cost, right, of the materials before you sewed them together, the real question is what value does it bring to me? What's the result I get out of owning this shirt? Now, this shirt, I love this shirt. I actually love this jacket over here next to me too. Jill gave me this jacket next to me. Oh, let's see here. It's a great jacket. It's just fleece inside. If you're looking for a product review, this is your product review right here. It's Arc'teryx brand. It has a chest pocket right inside on the left hand side. It also has really high pockets. I don't know if you can see how high these pockets are. So I'm holding the shoulder up here, and these pockets are way high. The zipper is like this far above the waist, right? Because I'm a climber, so I want to wear a climbing belt, and I want to still be able to get in my pockets. That's unique. Not many companies do that. That's a good product to me. I wear that every day in the winter, fall, spring, whatever. I got it for Christmas this year, so I've worn it every day since then, probably almost literally. And it's late spring now. I'm sure I'll be wearing it again this fall. When I travel, it goes in the airplane. It crushes down really easily. I can stick it in my bag. It keeps me warm, and I'm sitting in a cold waiting room or an airplane or wherever you're at. It's just fantastic. I love it. So the value I'm getting out of that jacket is worth way more than the cost of that jacket to me. Honestly, I would probably have paid 3 times what it really cost to get that value. And I've tried on, I have really long arms. I'm a long and thin person. So that it fits me really well. There's not a lot of clothes I find that are really form fitting, that fit my body well and keep me warm and that have the length I need for my arms. So that's unique to me. I'm getting more value out of that because it fits me in a very unique way. That's what you need to find out. What is the real value? I would have paid, I think literally I would pay 3 times the amount for that jacket. No kidding. Because I've had a hard time finding a jacket that fit just that perfectly well. The features I wanted, the higher pockets, the inside zipper pocket so I can throw a passport or whatever in there. It's just perfect. So what is the value of your product to the buyer? Okay. Don't just think, well, it takes me 3 hours of my time and $25 of material, so I'm going to sell it this. That's a fair price. No, it's not about what's a fair price that you think is fair. It's about what the value is to the buyer. What does your market really want? If you've done your market research, you know what they want. You know how painful that problem is. I need a jacket that fits me just my way for my activities, my sports. That's my need and my want, my desire. I'm willing to pay for that. So you find that out and then you price according to your market's needs and desires and wants, what they're feeling about it. Okay. Very, very important to get that concept. So I would literally, instead of this, I think this jacket cost 160. I think. I would, this might sound silly. I would easily pay $400 for that jacket. Easily. Because it's fantastic. I love it. It brings that much value to me. You may say, Chris, that's ridiculous. It's just a fleece jacket. No, it's the right fleece jacket. I've had a lot of gear. That's my jacket. You hear my passion coming out in that. I'm trying to express that. So I'm not trying to overdo the passion. That's just the way I feel about this jacket because it means something to me. Now, your product means something to the person you're selling it to or your service. We'll get to services in detail in a minute. But right now, your product really does mean something to that person. All right. It's really, really super important. I have a pair of Bose noise cancellation earbuds, not the headphones that go over the top, but the earbuds that like sit in your ear like these guys do. And when I'm on an airplane, they like make the airplane go away. It's amazing. I can sleep super well in them, but they have this cool feature. They let the voices near you come out. So when the steward or stewardess is walking by offering drinks or food, I can leave them on. There's no airplane noise, and I can hear that person talking so crystal clear. It's the coolest thing. That's really valuable to me because I fly a lot. So those are the kind of things that you have to figure out. What does my product create for my audience, my market? Is it giving them something of value that they're so desperate for and so hungry for and so willing to pay for because it creates an experience or a life change or income or time savings or a relationship swap or change or bettering a relationship or fixing a heartache or problem with their children or giving them a leg up and a chance to actually train their pet the way that it needs to be trained so it can be a valued member of the family. There's so many things that are not just, oh, dog training. That's, I'll pay somebody $10 an hour to train a dog. No, it's not about the dog training cost. It's about, hey, do you want your dog to be an amazing member of your family, one that can really enjoy the park with you and enjoy dinner with you and even go on trips with you and be that perfect pet that everybody's like, oh my goodness, what a great dog. Do you want that kind of experience with your pet? What is that worth? That's not worth $10 an hour. That's worth hundreds of dollars as a result. maybe worth thousands of dollars. I have friends who pay thousands of dollars to have their dogs trained to that level, right? I have another friend who bought a security dog for, I think, right around $30,000 because it was trained at such a high level to keep their family safe. Because they bought safety. They didn't buy a well-trained dog. They bought the emotional connection to safety. That is important, okay? So think through, what is your product worth? What's it bringing to your clientele? On the service side, let's say that you're offering a service and it's teaching. Let's say you're teaching relationship change, okay? Let's say you're really good, you've understood a lot of relationships, you've been advising people on relationships for years, you may be currently a licensed therapist or counselor, maybe a PhD, you may be in some kind of counseling or therapy work right now. Maybe you're not, and maybe you've had some good classes and your relational connection skill and the thing you can help someone work through is very focused because maybe you've lived through it in the past. I have a background of childhood abuse and trauma. So I'm really good at talking to people about how to start healing that. I'm not a shrink. I'm not good at PTSD. I've had lots of people help me with that, but I'm really good at getting someone from sitting on the couch worried about what's going to happen if they come out with their story to coming out with it and getting help, okay? Just because of my experience. Now, I'm not interested in doing that as a career because I love doing other things more, but I do love talking to someone about that. So if that's something you're passionate about, something you've lived through, let's just use that as an example, because often our life experience and our skill set and our passion all kind of weave together, and we find out, hey, this thing that I'm really good at is because I lived through this, or I accomplished this, or I've been doing this for a long time. That's why I'm good at teaching these things, because it's second nature for me, right? So let's just think that through. So let's say you're good at teaching someone to have some life change in relationships, and you've never priced this out before. You've never thought about what it's worth to someone else. Let's say you're making at your current job $50 an hour, making $100,000 a year. That's $50,000 an hour. If you don't follow that math, look back at some previous lessons. Real simple. You just simply take the annual amount that you earn, divided by 2,000, and that will give you your hourly rate, all right? Because 2,000 is how many hours you actually work in a year if you're full-time. If you're part-time, divide by 1,000. That'll give you your hourly rate. Okay. If you already get an hourly rate from your boss, then lucky you, just write it down. Let's say you're currently making $50 per hour for your work that you're doing right now, okay? Or let's say you're not currently working or for an income, but you're volunteering somewhere, or you're spending most of your time out in the community, or you've got the freedom and flexibility not to have a job right now. Good for you. But whatever it is, let's say $50 an hour is kind of what you're thinking, hey, that's what my time is worth. Well, let's say it would take you 10 sessions, 10 hours to really sit down with someone face to face in a coffee shop, at a local park, in an office, wherever you want to do this, and help them through the process of changing their own mindset and then taking action to be able to accomplish the life change they want in another relationship. Let's say it takes 10 hours to do that. Well, that makes your project worth $500, right? Okay. That's how much the hours are. 10 times 50 is $500. So for $500, you could take someone through a life change situation, a relationship change situation, and potentially save a marriage, or save their relationship with a teenager, or put a family back together, or help them out of a bad relationship, getting healthy on the inside again so they can restart life, whatever that may be. 10 hours, $500. If you've ever gone through a breakup, a bad marriage, or healed a marriage that was hard, or reconnected with a loved one or a child that's been broken, whatever it is, you know that is worth so much more than $500. At that point, it's not about the money, right? So look at the value and the result that you get from the healing. I've paid lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of money to heal from the past I was given as a child, right? Lots of money. And it's been worth 10 times that in the value I've gained as a human because someone helped me, right? I paid really qualified experts and counselors, both in retreat settings where you go away for a while and in hourly settings where you pay per hour, specialists in like PTSD, and then just general therapists who do a lot of talking and counseling. Jill and I have gone together to a lot of stuff. It's been so great, but it's cost a lot of money. But the value, the life I have, I wouldn't be doing this if I hadn't healed from that. The value in the life I have is worth 10 times that to me. So you could easily price this service at 10 times this number. Not kidding. If you said, hey, I can take you through a process, assuming you and your spouse are both willing to talk, that will save your marriage for $5,000. That's the cheapest marriage saving ever. Because getting divorced, not just from the legal fees and the tax issues and the selling and splitting up of all your assets, getting divorced is horrible, right? Anybody's ever lived through that, it can break your heart. It might be the thing you need to do if you're in a horrible relationship and the other party is not willing to change. But I'm saying in this scenario, let's just use our little scenario here. In this scenario, if you've got people willing to heal, they would gladly pay that kind of money over the course of a year if they had to spread it out, put it on their credit card, whatever, to see that kind of restoration and healing. Trying to get this into your head so you can see you're not worth an hourly fee. You're worth the value and result you bring to someone for your unique skill and ability, your unique passion, and where that intersects with the market that you want to serve. So if I want to heal a marriage or a relationship, or the customer that you're working with, the client you're working with wants to do that, they want it so bad, they will pay for the result, not just the hourly rate. So an example of that is when I was dealing with PTSD and healing from that, from trauma as a child. We got referred to multiple people who could help with trauma. But we found one, and she's amazing. She lives here in Memphis, Tennessee. She's incredible. If you need a referral, reach out. And she helped us. But we found her not because we were price shopping. It wasn't about price when we found her. I was not looking for a deal on someone to help with PTSD. Everybody kept mentioning, oh, this lady, she is the one. She's the one who can help you with your trauma, with your PTSD. She's specialized in not just PTSD, but PTSD in people who had the kind of trauma and the kind of background I had. She was super niched down. She was didn't matter what she charged, and she was expensive, and she was worth every penny because she did it, right? I was willing to work hard. She did her part, and it worked. Now, that's a really important thing. She's figured out her market. I'm not sure if she even thought through all this way or she just went into the type of science that she loved, but ultimately she's figured out her market and she's figured out the value that she brings to that market. And she's priced it a certain way. She could probably charge 3 times as much as she's charging now and be just fine. I've never worked with her as a client, don't intend to. I'm her client, I want to keep it that way. But you see the point. Bring the value to your market. Just think about your market, find out what they need, bring it to them, and then price your product accordingly. This is not trying to price gouge. It's none of that. It's just you're not worth what they're paying you. If they're paying you by the hour, you're worth 10 times that. If you can bring the value to someone, charge for the value. So I can't do this homework for you. I so wish I could, because I so believe this, because I've done it over and over in my own life, and I've taught other people to do this over and over. This matters, okay? You have to work this on your own. Find out what you're currently getting paid right now. Just talked about that in our last session. And then jump in here and find out how much time does it actually take you, the hours, to deliver the end result. If it's a piece of furniture you're making, if it's a clean set of teeth, if you're a chiropractor and it's an adjustment, if you're a CPA and it's a tax form, what is it that you're actually delivering? Is it really a tax form if you're a CPA? It's really not. My CPA is not the cheapest CPA in town, for sure. But I am extremely confident that my CPA is a rock star. He's really, really good. Been doing it a long time. He works for business owners and entrepreneurs like me. He knows his stuff. He charges for it. He charges a lot more than other people charge for it. But I don't worry about my tax returns. And when they get filed and they're done, and any question I have that I shoot over him during the year, it just is done. I pay for the peace of mind, all right? Yeah, I'm getting a tax return out of it, but I pay for the peace of mind knowing that I can rest, and I'm not going to have any guys in suits with black briefcases knocking on my door someday asking me weird tax questions. Sure, I might get audited. That happens, right? Happens to everybody. But if I do get audited, I trust my CPA. he's going to hold my hand through the whole process. He's that kind of guy, right? So it's not about H&R Block doing a tax return for the cheapest amount. It's about him giving me the peace of mind I need. But I'm his market, right? If I was the average person making $10 an hour at a retail shop and I just had my W-2 and I could walk in H&R Block and it's super simple and there's no divorces or liens on my house or anything crazy going on in my tax world and I just take it and they give me tax, maybe that's a commodity that's just easy to exchange. But I'm a specialized market. I have multiple businesses. This is what I do. You're watching me do it right now. This is not just your average day in a CPA's office. So he's charging me based on the value he's bringing me, okay? So go back and figure out what your service or product is, right? How you're pricing that product or service, okay? If it's by the hour or by the project or by the product itself. Figure out how long it takes you to do that service or build that product, and then figure out what that is actually coming out to. Obviously, this is different. I did $25 per hour right here for the product. Doesn't matter how you fill this in. Down here, I use an example of this is the total price per project. Don't get confused by that. Fill this out however you want. Just separate out. Here's what I'm making per hour now for delivering this result. But what is the result worth to the person I'm selling it to? That's your job today. Figure out your thing, whatever it is you're going to sell, whatever product or service you're going to sell. What is it worth to your end user? What is the change, the realization, the aha moment, the new income stream they're going to generate, the freedom in their life, the connection to a new relationship, the health and wellness they receive, the spiritual shift they get, whatever it is that you bring, what is that thing worth? What's the value? What's the life change that's going to happen over the next years for that person because of what you've done in their life? And then start pricing to that. Whatever you do, make sure you price it at least twice as much as you're making now per hour. Many of you can price this at 10, 20 times what you're making right now per hour, but at least double it. So if you're currently making $50 an hour, you know you can do life change for people. It takes 10 hours, 10 sessions, whatever, for the average person to go through that relationship change that you're talking about. That's $500. At least sell it for $1,000, right? I know you could sell it for 5,000, but at least sell it for 1,000. Instantly, we're going to double your income. All right. Instantly, we're going to create twice as much income in the same amount of time, just like that. You say, Chris, duh, it's super simple, but come on, it's not that easy. No, I promise it is. Once you figure this out, then go back again and review the 2 videos, I think it was, that we talked about the minimum viable offer and rethink through your minimum viable offer with this information. I know this seems like I did this backwards, but you had to get that concept to roll into this concept. Once you get this concept, roll it back into everything we've learned. And if you're still a little weak and saying, wow, I'm not sure what my market really values this. I didn't go ask the market all those questions you told me to ask, Chris. Go back to those lessons, learn what we talked about, get those questions from that market, because once you understand their pain points, what it really means to them to have their problems solved, you will have some magic. Oh, you're going to have some powerful magic to work with. So figure that out, get this done. If you're weak on any of the points leading up to this point, go back and rewatch that, shoot me questions. I will help you. We will get you there. Just make sure you do this homework. Get a new price for your product or service based on the value it brings to your person. With just this information right here, you could go out and start knocking on doors or reaching out on Facebook or some social media channel and instantly start selling. You could do that. All right. We're going to get there. You've gotten really, really close. If you track with me every day, you are super duper duper close to starting to make more money than you've ever made before in less time than you ever made it. I will see you very, very soon, and we'll keep talking through these concepts. Ask me questions, Chris Williams, Chris.Williams at Scenthold.com, CHRIS.WILLIAMS at Scenthold, SENTHOLD.com. And oh boy, you're really, really close to starting a business. I'm super excited. I'll see you the next time. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.